Film analysis, Boy Kills World, 2024. Basic synopsis. The film follows Boy, a man left orphaned, deaf, and mute after his family is murdered by the Van Der Koy family, led by Hilda. Trained by a mysterious shaman, armed only with physical skills, imperfect lip reading, and an inner voice, borrowed from his favorite video game, he sets out on a path of vengeance. Along the way, he faces authoritarian regimes, brutal violence, allies, and hallucinations, including the ghost of his sister that haunts his mind. What works well? 1. Action, visual core, and aesthetic. The film features visceral action sequences. Fight choreography, set design, and visual effects are ambitious and impactful. The dystopian settings blend decay with surreal creativity. 2. Bill Skarsgård's performance. Despite playing a deaf and mute character, Skarsgård delivers a strong physical performance. His expressiveness through body language and facial acting carries much of the film's emotional weight. 3. Dark humor, surrealism, and voiceover. Boy's inner voice, a narration of his thoughts, adds humor and surreal contrast to the brutality, reinforcing the film's video game graphic novel vibe. 4. Promising themes. The story touches on revenge, trauma, identity, and the way pain shapes and corrupts those who pursue justice. It also flirts with social commentary on totalitarianism, media, and the spectacle of violence. Weaknesses. 1. Script narrative depth. The plot is predictable, with underdeveloped side characters who mostly serve as obstacles or comic relief. 2. Overloaded with gimmicks. Hallucinations, constant voiceover, flashbacks, and stylistic flourishes sometimes clash instead of blending seamlessly. The film pulls from too many influences, video games, dystopias, pop culture, without always achieving cohesion. 3. Tone, pacing. Its relentless rhythm and excessive violence can exhaust viewers. The second half in particular struggles with pacing and overstays its welcome. 4. Representation and originality. A hearing actor plays a deaf character, and while not inherently wrong, the film could have approached this with more sensitivity. Many elements, dystopian revenge, authoritarian regimes, blooded combat, feel derivative, leaning on familiar tropes rather than innovating. Trivia: Boy Kills World 2024. Directorial debut of Moritz Moer. Boy Kills World is the feature film debut of director Moritz Moer. Production and financing. The movie was produced by big names such as Sam Raimi and Roy Lee, among others. The South African studio Entheba Pictures was heavily involved, along with Hammerstone Studios. Filming in South Africa. Shooting took place mainly in Cape Town, South Africa, from February to April 2022. Bill Skarsgård's physical training. To portray Boy, Skarsgård underwent intense training, including martial arts and muscle building, to achieve the character's physical style. Inner voice inspired by video games. Although the protagonist is deaf and mute, he has an inner voice in the film, a fictional creation inspired by a video game narrator he remembers. This is a central part of the film's aesthetic. Mix of styles, graphic novel influence. The director wanted the visual style to be heavily influenced by graphic novels, with stylized aesthetics, exaggerated visuals, fantastical settings, and highly stylized violence. Casting changes. There were casting changes during development. For example, Samara Weaving was originally cast, but dropped out due to scheduling conflicts, being replaced by Jessica Roth. Runtime, rating, and violence. The film runs for about 111 minutes and is rated for adults due to violence, blood, and strong language. Trailers and behind-the-scenes material. Even in the trailers and promotional material, there was a strong focus on martial arts fight scenes, choreography, and the physical style of the protagonist. Lessons. Boy Kills World 2024. 1. Violence breeds violence. The movie emphasizes that revenge rarely brings true peace. Boy's quest for vengeance only deepens his trauma, showing that violence often perpetuates more violence instead of resolving pain. 2. Identity and the power of voice. Even though the protagonist is deaf and mute, he creates an inner voice to guide himself. This reflects the human need for identity and expression, and how finding one's voice, in whatever form, is essential for survival. 3. Trauma shapes but doesn't define. Boy is deeply marked by the trauma of losing his family, yet the film suggests that people can either be consumed by trauma or strive to transcend it. 4. The illusion of control. The Van Der Koy regime represents authoritarian control, manipulation, and spectacle. The film suggests that oppressive power is fragile when confronted by resilience and defiance. 5. Reality versus hallucination. Boy's hallucinations, including visions of his sister, highlight the thin line between perception and reality. The lesson here is that internal struggles can be just as consuming as external ones. 6. The cost of blind vengeance. The narrative underlines that pursuing revenge without reflection can dehumanize, turning the victim into a reflection of the very violence he despises. The film Boy Kills World 2024 had an estimated production budget of $18 million United States dollars and grossed only about $3,300,000 United States dollars worldwide at the box office. Now, here's our opinion.
When Boy Kills World came out, the internet was on fire. The movie promised to be that classic 90s-style action flick, with a protagonist who trains, improves, and goes after his revenge, not some hero who's born perfect and wins everything effortlessly. People were hungry for a proper action movie because, honestly, in recent years, we'd seen way too many releases with empowered female leads who solve every problem instantly, almost magically. Don't get me wrong, I love diversity, but nobody wants a character who's already perfect and doesn't need to work for anything. When Boy Kills World finally arrived, fans got really excited because it seemed like the film would bring back those classic values: training, overcoming obstacles, and fighting powerful enemies. And yes, the movie delivers on that promise. Bill Skarsgård as Boy gives an impressive physical performance. He's deaf and mute, but that doesn't diminish his presence on screen. In fact, his internal video game voice adds a fun, unique twist to the story. Now, fair warning, you have to accept some creative liberties. There are scenes where he charges into a whole squad fully armed and somehow doesn't get a scratch. His luck is just ridiculous. It's a little annoying, but it's part of the movie's over-the-top style. The action scenes are well executed, the art direction is fantastic, and the visuals are very comic book and video game inspired, which makes everything more fun. The technical quality is solid, and even with a simple story, the film keeps you engaged with inventive sequences and unexpected moments. In the cast, besides Bill Skarsgård, we have Jessica Rothe, who really shines as a stylish warrior. Her physical condition is incredible, abs defined, moves precise, and her fight scenes are both convincing and thrilling. I'll admit, I usually approach female action characters with a bit of skepticism, but Jessica totally delivers. The helmet her character uses to communicate with messages, honestly, unnecessary. It doesn't add anything to the story and feels like a video game accessory, but it doesn't take away from her performance. I remember her from Happy Death Day, where she was already super charismatic. Seeing her again here was awesome, and I was genuinely impressed with her physical evolution and her presence as a warrior. I also have to mention Yan Yan Ruyan, who plays the shaman. This guy is a combat machine. His fight scenes are breathtaking, the choreography is stunning, and it's a pleasure to watch an actor with that much skill in action sequences. Overall, Boy Kills World is fun and delivers what it promises. Stylish action, video game references, physically impressive characters, and some original ideas. It's not perfect. There are exaggerations, moments that require suspension of disbelief, and a few narrative flaws. But if you enjoy a fun, stylish action movie with bold fight choreography, it's definitely worth checking out. Was the hype a little over the top? Sure. But the movie's fun and charm make it easy to see why people were so excited to watch it. That said, in my opinion, it's an okay movie. Enjoyable, but not more than that. That's all for now. Session closed. If all goes well, see you in the next video. Until then.
Walk with, now they looking nervously, and I don't really care what you think of me respectfully. You can kick rocks if you think you're fucking better.